Hello everyone, I am Invixify and welcome back to another video. Now, my Sonic X Shadow Generation content is still coming, but I decided to give you guys a little treat before getting back to that. Today we are going to be doing an IDW Sonic arc tier list. That's right. Since I've read like every single IDW main arc, mini arcs and side stories, Sonic Annual, and the specials and one-offs, we are going to be ranking all of those. So, what better place to start than the actual main arcs? Or, actually, we could start with the specials and one-offs and leave the others to come last, since they're the main arcs. So, down here, we have the Free Comic Book Day Special 2022, Sonic's 900th Adventure, Endless Summer, Halloween Special, Winter Jam, and Spring Broken. So, how we're going to do this is that I am going to look back at the issue/arc and see which one I think is the best and for what reason. Starting with the free comic book day special, I'm just gonna show you guys what that looks like real quick. So just bear with me here. The free comic book day special in 2022 looks like this. Pretty nice looking cover, if I do say so myself. So, starting with that, I think it's a really good story about Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles going to fight Dr. Eggman. I really do like it. Because it also brings back some references, like them going to, I believe, Marble Garden, and bringing back one of Eggman's old mechs from Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic 3, or yeah, something like that. But I think it's pretty good. I like the characterization. The art is gorgeous as always, and like all of IDW. I just think it's really, really solid, and I really like it. But what would I rank it compared to the others? Hmm, that is a good question, but I'd say that the free comic book day special would be. This is hard. Let's see, because I really don't hate any of these. They're all good. But if I had to put it somewhere, I'd put it in the third spot. For now. For now. I'd put it in the third spot. Just because after that we have Sonic's 900th adventure. And Sonic's 900th adventure is really, really good. Oh, my bad. Sonic's 900 Adventure is really, really good, and I really loved the story in it. Is what I loved about it. Sonic's 900th Adventure. It was really good. I like that they brought back the Warp Topaz, and if you guys are wondering what those I got the names from, it's from this thing right here. Yeah, like special fan names that aren't really, you know, they never named these arcs, so we kind of just went with the flow there. So yeah. So, anyways, Sonic's 900th Adventure. I really do like Sonic's 900th Adventure. Like the fact that it brings back up the Warp Topaz since Starline is no longer here, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, I really like the story of the Warp Topaz. I love all the characters that appear. Like, of course, you have Sonic, Tails, but you also get other characters like the Babylon Rogues, Shadow, Blaze. Hell, even Cream shows up, and I like that. It's kind of like one big thing with, I mean, it's Sonic's 900th comic adventure, so it seems appropriate that everyone's here. To go even further into depth, I love that all the locations they go into referencing a bunch of past games like Sonic Rush, a new IDW exclusive location with the Rainbow Canyon area, and like the cave that Eggman went into to get the Warp Topaz, and Starline too, which I think is pretty good. So I'm honestly going to rank this as number one. I think this is my favorite special in the entire IDW series. Now, Endless Summer. Endless Summer. There is something about Endless Summer that just gets my gears going. Because Endless Summer, I think, is really good. And just to show you guys what that looks like, IDW Endless Summer. The cover art looks like, well, it has multiple different cover arts, is what I meant to say. Like, you got this one and this one. This one is just a chill, laid back one that I like quite a bit. It's chill and it's laid back. And I'd say I think we're actually gonna move Sonic Free Comic Book Day up one spot, and we are going to keep the wrong thing. We are going to. I don't know. Let's see. Endless Summer. Where would I place Endless Summer? That's a toughie. That's a tough question because I really do love Endless Summer. I like that. I like the whole rival aspect between Sonic and Jet because we don't really get to see Sonic and Jet's rivalry all too much. Really, only in the IDW comics, and I think that's really cool, especially the Babylon Rogues. Of course, Tangle, Whisper, and Jules. Little side plot there was all fun. I like seeing Whisper actually smile for once in this. It was just fun all around. I really like it. It's pretty good. I'm gonna be for real. I do love it. So, what else do I like about it? I mean, I like the whole beach vibe. I think that's pretty cool. Like the volleyball, the mini games, like the surfing. Like I noticed in one panel, Whisper's just doggy paddling, and that's pretty funny. I like it, but I think I would have to put Endless Summer in fourth place, simply because I do like the Halloween special a bit more. And why is that? That is because the Halloween special does something you wouldn't really expect, and that's bring the Chaotix into like the main fray for once. And I really like the Chaotix. They're one of my favorite group in the entire series, if not my favorite, besides Team Sonic, of course. And I really do like their dynamic in this. The fact that Charmy gives up going trick or treating to save kids' candy, I like that about his character. And the fact that Vector says it's Charmy's big day, so he gets to choose what they do, I really like that. It shows that Vector's just a chill, laid back dude. And SBO taking the adventure seriously, I love that too. It's funny. And the fact that Sonic and Tails get involved too, it's also pretty cute and funny. Especially Tails' whole cowboy gimmick there. It was funny. I got a laugh out of it. And the whole like mystery of who it could be. It's like a good Halloween special that they did. I thought it was pretty cute and pretty special and funny. So yeah, that's why I placed the Halloween special above the Endless Summer special. And Winter Jam. Oh, Winter Jam. I do like Winter Jam. As you can see, it looks pretty good. I really love the whole plot about that Dr. Eggman just gets like addicted to like reality TVs. So Orbot and Cubot just make the whole Winter Jam to try and get him out of that because their work is getting piled on. It's really funny, especially since Orbot and Cubot are just funny characters in general most of the time. And the fact that they all get kidnapped by a big fish is also funny. Like Sonic, Big, Rouge, Amy, Omega, and Cream, I believe, are all there, and they just get snatched up is funny. The challenges they do. I love that Sonic looks more devastated in this comic than like any main arc, which is really funny. Like, bro, there's no way. But yeah, then like Froggy ends up because it's like it's revealed he's a badnik, and that was so funny because like a just makes a big Eggman statue. It's just goofy, and I love that all around. Since Big is one of my favorite characters in the Sonic franchise, but yeah, it's just a sweet little story about them, and of course, Eggman by the end gives up on reality TV, and it's just sweet. It's just sweet and special. I love it. Honestly, I think I would switch Endless Summer with Winter Jam. I think I like Winter Jam just a little bit more than Endless Summer, which means, of course, in last place we have Spring Broken. Now, I'm not saying I hate Spring Broken. It's just that Spring Broken, it was a nice little story, of course, with all the characters. And I do like the whole like carnival theme park theme. It's just nice and sweet, especially the flower contest thingy. I like that. Seeing Knight and Amy interact was pretty good. Rough and Tumble is always being reoccurring villains. They're always funny, no matter what they're doing. And once again, a whole mystery aspect, which I like. Especially Silver's big role in the plot, since Silver is my favorite ever Sonic character. I like that we actually see Vector and Tails interact a lot, which we never really see in the games or any other piece of media Sonic related. So I really like that aspect about it. But I think it just falls short compared to the others because the other five comics are really hard to beat, especially 900's Adventure and Free Comic Book Day Special. I think those are really good because it adds on to like the lore in the Sonic IDW universe since the IDW is canon to the games. So I was like, it adds on little lore and it's funny. And the Halloween special, I think that also adds a little bit like it adds some flair, some spice to the Sonic game universe. Same goes for Winter Jam. Seeing Orbot and Cubot do all their little goofy things, it's just funny. And Endless Summer, well, it's there. It's one of my least favorites. Well, not least favorites. I do still really like it, but the only reason I put it above Spring Broken is that I just love seeing Sonic interact with Jet and the Babylon Rogues as a whole, which I just find their dynamic really funny. It's not like Shadow versus Sonic, where it's just like hype, or his other rivals like Knuckles. No, I just like that Jet is just a cocky prick. I just find it funny. And Spring Broken, well, short and sweet and pretty cute, is just left it just left a little bit to be desired. Not not too much, just a little bit, because it was still pretty good and funny. And this would be my rankings for the specials and the one-offs for the IDW Sonic comics. Overall, a really good run, and I really like what they did with the whole thing. I thought it was pretty cute and funny. Now, Sonic Annual. This is going to be monumentally harder than the other ones because I do find all of them really good. Starting with 2019 Annual. I really love the cover art for this one. That it's like that old like 2D art style they do back in the 2000s. I really like that style of Sonic art, so of course I find that to be amazing. And I really love every annual. Hmm, I don't know, but let's just start with Sonic Annual 2019. Sonic Annual 2019. There's a lot I could say about this. Like I love the side plot with the kids, with Tangle, of course, the kids learning how to be good. The basically Sonic fan group. I find that whole subplot really funny. Same goes for like the Jewel and like whispering them subplot. Them just like trying to protect the area from bad guys. I found that pretty funny. I really love this special. Like of course you got some Sonic and Tails moments where Sonic actually gets to drive the tornado for once, and I find that really cute. And of course the Babylon Rogues with the thing. Seeing them interact with the Babylon Rogues was actually pretty heartwarming. I like that. It was funny seeing them interact in that kind of way. It was pretty cool. And seeing Sonic drive the tornado for once, I really do like that aspect since we rarely ever see Sonic ride the tornado. I think we've only ever seen it in I can't recall any game Sonic ever um rides the tornado. If any of you guys know, correct me on that. But yeah, I really like it. All right. Ooh, Curse of the Pyramid was another really funny one. Yeah, Curse of the Pyramid, seeing Rough and Tumble go on their own little adventure was really funny. Especially since Rouge ends up being the one to stop their goofy plan. I think that's just really funny. So yeah, overall this is a really good annual, but I think I'm going to have to put it in last place, which is insane because I mean, I was just praising it a lot, but it's like I don't know, there's just something about the 2020 annual that is so amazing. Actually, let's go to 2022 real quick. I want to gush about 2020 later because the 2022 annual, it's cute and short and sweet. Well, not short, it's pretty long, but it's cute. I like the first story with Blaze. I think it's really good, especially seeing her interact with Knuckles, who we haven't seen her interact with much. Having them seeing them have like a guardian talk about Blaze needing to have a break. I also think it's a really cool and clever way to bring her back into the main IDW plot lines later in the main arcs. I think that was really clever of them to do. Same goes for like Silver needing to stay back in the past because he likes it nice. He likes just how calm it is. And I think that's really cool for his character. The Gemerald and Omega side plot of them like becoming buddies and like bros was pretty cool. I love that. Especially Gemerald standing up for his family, Cream and Vanilla. I love that. Well, Omega's telling him to join his team and like trying to stop Robotnik for good. I really love that. It was really good. And the Whisper and Jet side plot was really funny, like them her stealing his calzone and stuff. So he just gets really mad about it. Yeah, I found that pretty funny. Just like angry. I also love seeing Espio and Silver interact again, since we haven't really seen that since Sonic Rivals, and I think Rivals is pretty good. Oh yeah, also the Cream subplot, the Hero Camp. Of course, any story with Orbot and Cubot is going to be really funny because it's Orbot and Cubot. But it's like I just love the whole aspect of it, like Cream standing up for herself and the other campers, while Orbot and Cubot try to like basically try to learn what the restoration is all about and trying to take down Sonic. I really love it. It's funny. So, with all those factors, I'd have to say the Sonic Annual 2022 stays exactly where it is, third place. Now, the 2020 Annual. Oh my god, I could gush about this thing all day. I love every single story in this little book here. The first plot with Big, I really like, showing him like what he was doing throughout all the arcs, just kind of going from place to place. I really like, especially the last panel with him and Froggy, just like he's oblivious to the fact that he's changing, which is a really sad note to end off on for someone like Big the Cat. It's just like I do love it. I can't put into words. I just gush about it a lot. I just love it. I just love seeing Big represented. It's fun seeing him go around all these different places and telling us how he came to be back with Froggy again. It's just really heartwarming and nice. And I loved seeing Knight and this dude. I forgot his name, but oh wait, I think it was Don. Yeah, Don. Knight and Don, I love their little subplot there of them trying to help during the Metal Virus arc, which I think was really spectacular. Him trying, like, Dawn being mad about Knight for wanting to stay, and they could potentially get, like, infected by the Metal Virus. I thought that was pretty dope. Well, Knight just wants to stay back and help people. I think that really shows off their characters, and I really like that. And of course, the Chaotix one is also pretty heartwarming, where Espio and Vector find Charmy, you know, zombotified, but they still want to help him because he's still part of the Chaotix, and I really love that about their characters. That they're like, they care about their team that much that even if Charmy is zombotified, they don't care. They just still help him out. I just love that about their dynamic, their ride or die. And the fact that they trick Charmy into doing something so they catch him shows out their detective skills pretty well. The Jules side plot is also really cool with the kids from the Sonic fan club actually showing up. I think it was really, really good. So, yeah. Jewel actually getting infected here was really sad because it's like, no, bro, out of all characters. But the fact that she tried to help these kids not get infected but failed is a really sad note to end off on, especially with this like a giant thing ready to pour metal virus all over them. It's actually it's devastating if I'm being honest. And I really love that. But my absolute favorite story in this entire little arc here has to be Metal Sonic's. I love Metal Sonic's story in the Sonic Annual. The fact that they needed no dialogue to get their point across just shows how amazing it is. The fact that he tries to touch the metal virus just to see if maybe it'll turn him into a human or something, or just to see if he'll change. I love it. It's just like he wants to truly know if he's the real and one and only Sonic. I adore this. The one and only Sonic. It's just it's immaculate. I just can't express in the words how much I love how this short story just emphasizes Metal Sonic's character so amazingly. Like he just tries to pick up the metal virus, but it doesn't work on him, and then he just kind of ponders that he'll never be the real Sonic, and I love that character growth on him in this thing. Honestly, after gushing about this arc for so long, I am going to have to put Sonic Annual 2020 in the number one spot, which means, of course, the number two spot has to go to Sonic Annual 2024. Now, the 2024 annual, oh, wrong number. The 2024 annual is also really good. It's cute. It's like laid back. I love it. Especially Knuckles' whole story in this. For My Destiny, I found that really heartwarming that Knuckles is just like chilling on his island, think about all the adventures and how he gazes into like the emerald there, and he's like pretty sad about it. Like maybe he should be down there with his friends and stuff. It shows off Knuckles' character pretty well. And since Knuckles is one of my favorite Sonic characters, I love that it shows that side of him. Where it's like, and in another universe where he doesn't have friends, he feels bad for that version. It shows that Knuckles really values his like main core friends of Sonic, Tails, and Amy, and really values their friendship. Even though he may not always be with them, it just shows how much Knuckles cares. And I love that aspect about him, that he just truly cares about his friends and his whole like tribe as a whole. He just adores it. And of course, the Surgeon Kitsunami subplot is also really good. I love that one. Seeing them try to be heroes was a fun little play on their dynamic there. Seeing them go from villains to sort of anti-heroes slash like rivals was really heartwarming and funny because they handle it in a very different way from someone like Sonic, as to where they're like more bold and brash about saving people. Like in this sub story, they just like flip over a bus to save the people, and it's like, yeah, that's one way to do it, I suppose. But there's like compare that to how Sonic would try to save everyone and not like tip the bus over. Little things like that. I just find really cute and funny about their whole dynamic there. And the ending was also really good of Kitsunami saying he's going to start trouble so Surge can end up saving the day and like kind of one up Sonic. And the fact that they still want to kill Sonic and Tails shows that they haven't fully let go of their pure unbridled hatred that Starline has infused in them. And I think that's like that's why they're such interesting characters. But every single story in this Sonic annual gets trumped by Mimics. Mimic might just have my favorite story in a Sonic annual. It's up there with Metal Sonics. It is that amazing. Because what Mimics is that it's basically just him monologuing to himself about how friendship is like not valuable. He just sees it as a weakness that just leads to nothing but pain and suffering, which is why Mimic is a loner in the Sonic universe. And I find that really compelling, and it helps us learn a ton more about Mimic's character. And I really think Mimic is one of the best original IDW Sonic villains or characters in general. And this annual story really proves that at one point he did truly care for the Diamond Cutters, and that he thought maybe, just maybe, he could finally let his guard down and have real friends for once with Smitty, Clairvoyant, Whisper, and the other one, I forgot his name. Uh but it shows he truly maybe could have started a team with them, and maybe could have had something more with them. But in the end, his hatred drove him away from that, and he just chose cowardice and murdering the Diamond Cutters and leaving only Whisper alive to psychologically torture her for the rest of her days. And I think that shows Mimic is just a true monster, that he truly thinks friendship is a burden and a lone wolf. That's all he's ever going to be, just a lone wolf. And I think that is why this is my favorite Sonic annual story in the entire series, which is why it's in second, because I just love every story in Sonic Annual 2020 is a banger. It's all just amazing. Ooh, the mini arcs and side stories. Here's where we get into the real meat and potatoes of this video. So, Whisper and Tangle. I really do love the Whisper and Tangle miniseries. It's fun. It helps us learn more lore about Whisper and a little bit about Tangle, but more so Whisper. This is more so a Whisper comic than a Tangle comic, which I don't mind. It introduces Mimic, one of my favorite Sonic villains, and I love that it introduces Mimic to like the whole story, and like shows that he's a slimy manipulator that uses Tangle and Whisper's faces to double cross them, like trapping Tangle in the big vault and becoming Tangle to try and kill Whisper on the fly. It just shows how slimy and detestable Mimic is as a character. And seeing Whisper finally form a bond with Tangle is really heartwarming. Like her dropping the lore bombshell that her original team, the Diamond Cutters, ended up just perishing to Mimic, as well as a little bit to Eggman, just shows that Whisper is pretty mentally broken and is like barely being able to cope with the loss of her team, the Diamond Cutters, especially since her mask and weapon were, I believe, Schmitty's and Clairvoyance's. And it just shows that their bond is something truly special, and the fact that Tangle listens and feels sad and wants to bring Mimic to justice shows that she is a true friend to Whisper, and I really love that, especially their wisps. Whisper talking to her wisps, I thought was just really heartwarming and cute. I love that about her character, that she truly cares for her wispons and treats them more like companions as just objects to be used. I just I just gush about this. I could gush about this all day. Yet, even with that, I have to put this in last place, which sounds crazy since I was just praising it, but I every single arc in this thing is just amazing. I don't know. Now, for third place, it is a really, really tough call, but I think I'm gonna have to put Scrapnik Island in the third spot. And I know Scrapnik Island is a fan favorite. Like, I understand that. I understand that Scrapnik Island is a fan favorite, and I love Scrapnik Island too. I love seeing, Mecha Sonic get brought back. And it's like seeing E117 Sigma, an E series we haven't seen before, was also pretty cool. And seeing Mecha Knuckles from the old GBA Sonic games was also great. Sonic Advance. And Mecha, we haven't really seen him in any official Sonic media since Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And it was nice seeing, yeah, it was nice seeing them recreate the Metal Sonic OVA thing of him smacking Sonic's hand away and Mecha saying he's just a pure unbridled failure that has failed everything. His old objective of killing Sonic and his new objective of protecting Shrapnel Island. It shows that he truly kind of hated himself for being just a failure. And Sonic just telling him that he can live for him and he should do what he wants to be free. And that shows Mecha's change of heart, and he grabs Sonic's hand and decides to be better. I love that because the the comic before this, he was ready to just kill Sonic. He was ready to kill Tails and take Sonic's body to finally get off Scrapnik Island and make Eggman remember him for all that pain and suffering Eggman caused him in the past, just abandoning him and leaving him to rot on Scrapnik Island with the abandoned Death Egg and the Egg Carrier. And it just shows that Mecha Sonic was truly a fucked up guy throughout some of the story. And I love Tails actually going in to find Sonic, well, gearing up to. I really love that. We don't really get to see Tails being badass too often, and this comic did it. Him actually standing up to Mecha and trying to do what he thinks is right. I really, I really adore that about Tails in IDW, especially since in the games his character is so inconsistent. I just love that they would do this for him. And then, of course, you got. Actually, I think I've sung all my praises. Oh, the Mecha Knuckles fight. Almost forgot about that. Mecha Knuckles going in to fight Sonic, and then Mecha destroying, and then Mecha Sonic going in to destroy Mecha Knuckles. I think was pretty cool, and Sigma just being shocked about it. Sigma is also a really good character in this mini arc here. he's just a really well thought out character, and it just really shows that he is like a kind and loving person. At least that's what I figure. So yeah, with all those praises, Scrapnik Island is going to have to be in the number 3 spot. And in number 2, as you guys can clearly see, I have Sonic Imposter Syndrome. And I cannot sing Imposter Syndrome's praises enough. Imposter Syndrome is truly an amazing mini series. I especially love the cover for this one being a callback to the Sonic 2 box art. I really love that. And Starline being my favorite IDW original character, I just really love this whole shtick and seeing how Surge and Kit came to be and Starline manipulating and grooming them into hating Sonic and Tails. It's just it's amazing. I can't put it into words, but we just really stick with Starline, Surge, and Kit this entire comic. We only really see hints of Eggman and Metal Sonic throughout, and besides that, it's mainly a Starline, Surge, and Kit story. And I love that it's so contained. It's just really contained, and I just love that aspect of it. Starline, and I just think Starline here is at arguably his most evil. He's grooming them and forces them to go to sleep with this hypnotization to make up a story so that Surge and Kit never really get any true closure about who they once were. They didn't know their hobbies, if they were criminals, if they were normal Mobians, none of that, because Starline wiped all their memories. And I do like during the second half that they actually hypnotize Starline so they get to keep their memories and Starline forgets everything. I really love that aspect that they steal his glove and then put it back and then put it back. I think it's really telling of how these two work together. They're like inseparable duo that just, show. And for that reason, Imposter Syndrome is in second. And now, my favorite mini thing, mini arc of the entire thing, has to be Sonic the Bad Guys. Sonic the Bad Guys is actually such an amazing mini series. It honestly should not have been this good, but seeing Starline as the main focus in this one was amazing, especially with him gathering his um Sinister Six League of Villains here with Mimic, Zavok, and Rough and Tumble is was really I really liked it. I just love seeing these guys interact with each other. I think it was really cool, and there were some funny moments too with the cool moments, like the first one of Starline taking over Egg Base Sigma. I think was pretty cool, and then him going to the prison to free Zavok, Mimic, Rough and Tumble was all also pretty cool. And then Starline thinking he's this grade A mastermind. Meanwhile, Zavok has already figured out his entire plan from the start. Just shows how cunning both Zavok and Starline are. And I really love that aspect about that they're both just cunning narcissists that only really care about themselves. And the fact that Starline is still trying to be like Eggman's favorite. He's going to take over the world for Eggman until Zavok gives him a pep talk. And Starline says he ain't gonna take over the world for Eggman. He's gonna take it over for himself. And even then, we see later he still tries one last feeble attempt to have Eggman see him as his equal. It just shows that Starline never really grows out of his obsession for Dr. Eggman. It's just really telling. And Rough and Tumble being the comedic relief here, it really it really balances out our three serious characters we have being Starline, Mimic, and Zavok. And the plot of them getting these power cores, which leads since Starline lost the Warp Topaz in an earlier arc, leading to him to create the Tricore, which I really like, which gives him the speed of Sonic, the flight of Tails, and the strength of Knuckles. And I think it's just a really well thought out arc, especially when Mimic puts a blade to Starline's throat. That was a really intense moment. of Starline panicking, trying to get rid of the data while Mimic is just seconds away from losing it and just ending his life. It's a really intense arc, which is why I have all of these placed exactly where they are. Ooh, and now the main arcs. The main arcs are really good. And of course, I have to put the arc in last. In last place, we have the Smoke and Mirrors arc, simply because it hasn't finished yet. Smoke and Mirrors just has to stay in last because it just simply hasn't wrapped up yet. But I do love the way where it is going. It is going in a really good direction so far. I love the mystery of who this villain could be, and the fact that the fandom is really split between two options, that it is either going to be Dr. Starline or Infinite. And I'm really hoping it ends up being Infinite because then this arc will probably shoot up a couple places in my ranking. But as it stands, it's a really cute and cool arc with some cool new characters and, of course, Mimic's death, which was done really well. Seeing him commit suicide over just like, man up and actually let Whisper finish him off was really telling, and I really liked that aspect of his character. It just showed that Mimic is truly irredeemable and never wanted to change in the first place. So that is the reason Smoke and Mirrors ends up being last place for me. Simply because the arc hasn't finished yet. I will most likely update this in around a year whenever we finish the Smoke and Mirrors arc, which is probably going to end at issue 100. And then after that, we have the Battle for Angel Island arc from IDW Sonic Comics. And this arc is a pretty good arc, I'm not going to lie. So, let's just move Battle for Angel Island down to the 5th place spot. I really did like seeing Neo Metal Sonic again, since we haven't seen him since Heroes before this, and the fact that he wasn't trying to take over the world for himself this time, but to first take it over and then give it back to his creator, Dr. Eggman. It shows that Eggman's programming just made him absolutely 100% loyal to the Eggman Empire, and I love that about it. Speaking of Eggman, I really love his side plot of him becoming Mr. Tinker. I think that was really fun. Seeing a version of Eggman being good for once was a really nice plot that they went with. Seeing him be a nice guy and finally finish Eggman Land, which is just a little theme park in Windmill Village. I found that really cool and compelling for his character. And then the way Mr. Tinker ends by the end of this arc is truly something else, with Starline bringing him back to his senses and bringing the Mad Doctor back. But focus on that. We also got a really cool form in Super Neo Metal Sonic, using the power harness from the Master Emerald, giving him his cool super form. And I love how this arc just feels like it builds up to stuff. First, starting with like little things like Sonic and Tails noticing there are more coordinated robot attacks than just the random ones. That leads into Knuckles and everyone getting involved. So like, what is going on at this point? And it's like they're all like, "Whoa, whoa, okay, this is odd." Until it's finally revealed in issue 7 or 8 that it was actually Neo Metal planning all of that, and I find that really cool and compelling. And that leads to, of course, like everyone getting involved. Tangle, Whisper, Blaze, Silver, like everyone going up against Metal Sonic on the Battle for Angel Island. I really love the climax with Metal Overlord showing up, and they just like crash a ship into him, and then Knuckles getting the Master Emerald back. I really like that's the way that Metal Sonic is defeated. The fact that Silver is such an MVP also makes me like this arc a lot. It might be biased, but I just love Silver, and I really do love this arc, so that's the reason it places it 5th. Now in 4th place, we're going to keep Egg Peril City exactly where it is. And, it might seem that I'm just leaving it there for no reason, but I do like the Egg Peril City arc. It's just that it's shorter and doesn't really stack up to the other arcs. It's short and sweet. It's short and sweet. And I really like that about it, that it's just like, it's this like high stakes little adventure there that the whole cast is going on. The fact that Eggman City just keeps growing and growing, and the fact that underground it could collapse the entire planet, I believe they said, was really amazing. It was just like a really good arc to follow up the amazing issue we had beforehand, being issue number 50. And the fact that Sonic has to call in Whisper, Tangle, even like Silver, just all the homeboys to get it was just a really cool thing seeing them interact. And the fact that Surge and Kid are still on the loose too during this arc. The fact that Sonic and Tails kind of try to redeem Kid since he thinks Surge is just long dead was really cool too until he learned that Surge was actually still alive and he instantly switched up on them, which I really liked. Seeing that just shows how like deeply like linked him and Surge are as characters and as a deep like bond. It just really shows that they are codependent and it can't be any other way. And the panel where Eggman points a gun to Tangle's skull was like it showed that this comic was not afraid to go into dark places like that. And I really commend them for that. And I just think it's a really good arc with Eggman. And Shadow being a key player, like spamming Chaos Control was really cool. And once again, Silver being an MVP in this arc was really nice to see, which is why Egg Peril City goes in number 4th. And in 3rd place, that means we have the Clean Sweep arc. And what is the Clean Sweep arc? That is the newest arc that just wrapped up before Smoke and Mirrors, with our main villain in this arc being Clutch the Opossum. And I really like Clutch, he's a cool mob boss character. And this arc just has so much going on for it, like the Incredible Phantom Riders arc, which I really enjoyed. And that is where this arc really reaches its peak. And this might be the longest arc in the entire series, spanning from 82 all the way to 100, which is a long, pretty good arc. And the Phantom Riders mini arc shows that well because Clutches like thinks he's this dude behind the scenes. He's manipulating Jewel and trying to help them get Eggman Tech off the sweep when he's really Eggman Tech off the street when he's really just keeping that all for himself to sell as a selfish businessman. And the fact that the Phantom Rider is like Sonic, but then we later revealed that there was this other Phantom Rider, and that ended up being Mimic, was really cool, and everyone turning on Sonic. Besides Tangle and his core friends, because they just knew Sonic could never do nothing like that, and that really messes with Surge's mind. And I love that aspect of it. That it's just like Sonic becomes a villain for once, and that's really cool. And it's like, let's see. The climax to this arc is so amazing. Seeing Clutch just go full, like he's just done with it, like locking Tails, Amy the Chaotix, Rough and Tumble in a boiler room to just burn to death was really wild. Or the fact that he just tries to kill Tails and Charmy via his like cane gun is like Jesus. And then, of course, ending with Clutch going full kamikaze terrorist, trying to destroy the entire city by just bringing the blimp down was wild. And he was actually kind of doing really good at fighting against Sonic, Surge, Eggman, and everyone else. Like, he was one-manning the whole entire squad. It was wild. But yeah, this whole arc is just filled with fun, stakes, and tenseness. And the fact that Knight also covers for Sonic was really cool, seeing Knight do that. I really like that part of his character, part of Knight's character, that they didn't want to rat out Sonic, him and Dawn, which is why Clean Sweep goes in the 2nd place spot. Which means in number 2, we have the Metal Virus. Most likely the most famous arc in the entirety of IDW Sonic, being the Metal Virus arc. And, I mean, we've all heard the song and dance as Sonic fans. We all know why the Metal Virus arc is good. It brings that whole zombie aesthetic to Sonic, and it's just a whole race against time, with Sonic slowly turning into a Zombot, was really telling. Once again, Silver being a really big MVP during this arc. Actually, yeah, this is a really good thing here. the metal virus really reminds me of the prelates from the Archie Sonic comics, Interjack's World, the prelates. It really reminds me of that. And it's just good all around. Seeing Starline kind of just be losing his admiration for Eggman as the arc goes on for him not having a proper plan was amazing. And seeing the world just truly lose hope as more people get infected, like Cream, uh, Shadow, like everyone getting infected besides the last few all on Angel Island. And they're just trying to fight Zavok, who's trying to end the entire world. I love that whole kaiju fight too, and seeing Super Sonic was nice since we haven't seen him since. But yeah, seeing Super Sonic just beat the ever loving hell out of Zavok with Super Silver was really nice. And of course, Sonic going to Blaze Dimension, getting amnesia, and then coming back was a really nice way to end off this arc in a nice little bow. Which of course means that my number one favorite Sonic arc is Operation Remaster. Now, why do I place Operation Remaster above Metal Virus, the, you know, gold standard for Sonic arcs? Well, Operation Remaster from IDW Sonic Comics is my favorite because it focuses on Dr. Starline, my favorite Sonic character. Eggman kind of really takes a back seat in this arc, which I really like. And this arc opens with Sonic the Bad Guys, my favorite miniseries. And it does not fall off from there, let me tell you. The fact that Starline here, like, right, like, we see little hints of this, like at the Chow Resort. He shows up, takes a little bit of Tails and Sonic's DNA, or pair, and then later uses Bell's emotional breakdown to him as he's all giddy and happy to, try to program that into Surgeon Kit, which I really like. It shows that Starline really has no moral boundaries and he's just an evil dude that will do whatever he wants to get admiration from Dr. Eggman. It's just like, and Sonic and Tails are trying to figure out who, like, is on the case. Like, who is the main villain? Because they think it could be Eggman, and only finding out it's Starline about like 3/4 into the story was really cool. And the fact that Zavok and Mimic are still on the loose and they show up a little bit throughout this arc was really cool. And of course, Starline's death, one of my favorite things in the Sonic series. That final battle between him and Eggman looking all menacing is just, it's breathtaking. Like, I just can't put into words how much I loved seeing it for the first time. I was invested in this. And every time I go back to reread IDW, it never gets any less good. It just stays amazing no matter how many times I read Operation Remaster. And I think Starline dying, thinking he's a complete and utter failure, fits his character amazingly. We see this man grandstand and think he's all hot shit for the entire arc, just ending for him thinking he's a complete and utter miserable failure, being his final thoughts before being crushed to death, is truly poetic, and I love what it does to Starline's character. And seeing Surge, quote unquote, die during this arc was pretty cool. And Sonic's whole philosophy of giving everyone a second chance is really shows why I love Sonic as a character as well. I just sing the praises of this arc so much. I truly think this is an amazing arc on the level of Archie Sonic comics. Some of my favorite arcs in Archie. And so that is the finished list. Going from the specials and whatnot, we have 6th place, Spring Broken, 5th, Endless Summer, 4th, Winter Jam, 3rd, Halloween Special, 2nd, Free Comic Book Day, and 1st, Sonic's 900th Adventure. For Sonic Annual, we have the 2019 in 4th, 2022 in 3rd, 2024 in 2nd, and the 2021 and the 2020s in number 1. The mini arcs, we have Whispering Tangle, Scrapnik Island, Imposter Syndrome, and Sonic the Bad Guys. And finally, for the main arcs, we got Smoke and Mirrors, Battle for Angel Island, Egg Peril City, Clean Sweep, Metal Virus, and Operation Remaster. I truly hope you guys enjoyed me doing this because I just wanted to gush about the IDW comics since I've been reading them recently. So, as always, I have been Invixify, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.